if I only had $1,000, but I wanted to build like a pro-level voiceover studio? Like, how would I spend that money? This is gonna be fun. All right, I'm excited about this one. Building a voiceover studio under $1,000 that produces professional results. There's gonna be some challenges for sure, but I'm gonna give you two options. The first is gonna be a little more traditional, and then the second is gonna be just absolutely crazy pants territory. And that's not me just trying to like bait your view. Like, I'll be honest, no YouTuber in their right mind would make some of the recommendations that I'm gonna make, but if you know me, you know I am nothing if not pragmatic and just results oriented. So if it gives me a good overall end result, I don't care if it's not traditional. So that's going to be the second half. I don't want to scare anybody off just yet. A little bit about me and who I am. So I am Andrew. I've worked in recording studios and worked in audio for over 20 years. I have done post-production, mixing, and mastering. I've worked on audiobooks, I've worked on film and TV. Some of the movies that I've worked on have made it onto Hulu, if that matters to you. And then most recently, I have taught a college-level course on audio at a accredited college. So students would come to my class to get a degree in audio engineering. So if that matters, there it is. If not, that's also fair, because audio is just opinions and taste. If you have different opinions and taste, that just means we make different stuff, and that's great news. So let's dive in. Let's do the traditional thing first. So we're going to need an interface. That interface that I'm going to recommend today is going to be the Audient ID14. You cannot go wrong with these interfaces. These are great interfaces at that, introductory price point. So these preamps that they come with are the same preamps that they put in their big recording consoles. They're very musical. They actually have really good transient responses too. So if you ever record like any sort of percussion, they're actually pretty great for that. But they're clean, they're transparent, but they're not like stale. Like there's something about them that's actually very pleasing overall, which for voiceover, the game is you want a very pleasing sound without it being boring. So I think these are the perfect balance. Those preamps are great. The conversion's great. You can't go wrong. And the other reason why I'm going to go ahead and add this to the cart, do you want protection? No, we cannot afford protection. But the other reason why I'm going to add that to the cart is just simply because when you do upgrade your microphone, you're actually going to be getting the most out of that microphone by having that interface already. So there you go. Also, if you guys are interested in any of the pieces of equipment that I'm talking about, I am going to put the links to them down below. They are affiliate links. If you purchase through them, they give me a little kickback, and I would love you forever for that. Or, if you're just like, hey, I need to order that toothpaste that I do on Amazon. If you use my links below, don't buy the thing that I'm talking about, but just buy your other stuff. It also gives me a smaller kickback, but I would also love you forever for that. So just saying, if you want to help out the channel. Okay, if you've got an interface, you need a microphone. So I'm going to recommend this guy. This is the SE Electronics X1A. I don't know how they did it. SE Electronics is a great microphone company. They're actually kind of a disruptor, especially at that like introductory beginner price point. There are not many condenser microphones that I actually don't hate at around $100, or less. It's crazy that they were able to pull this one off. Like, it's kind of an interesting looking microphone, but it sounds really good. It sounds pleasant. It's not overly excited in the high mids, which a lot of like cheaper condensers give you that, and it's just so ear fatiguing after a while. This is much more neutral. It's much more rounded on the top end. It's smooth, and it just generally sounds pleasing. And these also take to post-processing pretty well, similar to the way that the Shure KSM32 does. Granted, KSM32 in my mind is like another world above this, but the SE Electronics is great. And for the $100 price point, I don't think you can do better. So we're going to add this one to the cart. I like the SE Electronics stuff. All right. No protection. Can't afford it. Oh, fun. I'm also under my wife's Amazon account. She doesn't mind. We'll just order all this stuff. Okay. You're going to need some version of something to hear yourself. So let's talk about the headphones first. So these are the headphones that I will recommend. This is the AKG K240 Mark II. I like the AKG headphones. They have a sound. Once you get used to that sound, you may love it forever, which a lot of people that use the AKG headphones feel that way. I know guys that are in the music production world that actually have these headphones or some version of those headphones, and they will hold on to them forever, even if they go into studios that have much better, higher-end headphones. Like, they know these headphones, they know them like the back of their hand, and so they will bring them into studio sessions because they just know them that well. I think that's fine. One thing to note, these are open back headphones. The open back versus closed back thing. So the headphones that I'm using, these are the Beyerdynamic DT770s. These are closed back headphones. That means that the isolation of the headphones is good because the sound won't be coming out of the headphone as much and bleeding into the microphone. So when you've got your performer and they've got headphones on, you're not going to hear, in the case of music, like the psh, all the other stuff that's going to bleed through the mic. For voiceover, it's not as much of an issue because you're typically just hearing yourself. But I also think it's a good thing to have a set of headphones, especially if you're just getting started in voiceover, because things like microphone distance and microphone technique can make a big difference. Notice how the sound is different when I'm back here. And then when I get up really close, it changes the overall timbre of my voice and the sound characteristics of this microphone. Some people love that proximity effect. Others don't, but it'll allow you to kind of play with things to find like the sweet spot for you. For me, I like to be about a hang loose away from the microphone. That's usually what does the best. So these are great headphones. Let's add them to the cart. No protection. Can't afford it. Okay. We need monitors. So these are going to be my biggest and strongest recommendation for monitors. Atom Audio T5V. These are the 5-inch woofer version. I like the Atom Audio monitors. They've got the ribbon tweeters. Those ribbon tweeters will give you quite a bit of articulation and detail on the top end. And they do reach down far enough into the lows for voiceover. I would say if you're doing music, you would need to pair them with a sub in order to really get the full frequency spectrum. But for voiceover, since we're going to do like a high pass or a low cut from about 70 or 80 hertz, like you really only need to hear, like the lowest is like between like 1 and 300. That's usually where like the boominess lives, and sometimes like resonances. So if you're looking for that, these monitors should do more than enough for you. They're great. Another option, well, here, let's add these to the cart real quick. No protection, can't afford it. But let's look at, oh, cool, it's already in the recommended. So the Yamaha HS5s. These are like a second option that I'm just going to throw out there. Here's the thing about HS5s or HS8s. I used to have the HS8s, and I knew someone that had the HS7s. And those monitors, kind of like the headphones, the AKG headphones, they have a sound. But you got to get to know them. And once you get to know them, you may love them, but you may hate them as well. Everybody seems to be kind of split like down the middle on the HS series from Yamaha. But the people that love them, love them. And again, kind of same kind of deal. I've known guys in the music production world that'll literally like carry like their big monitors into their session, like the Yamaha HS7s or HS8s, because they just know those speakers and they know them so well that that's what they want to use, even if the studio has like, a real fancy pair of Genelecs or something. Like, these are the ones that they prefer. They can be great speakers. They can be a little ear fatiguing, and at the crossover point where like the woofer starts to fall off, where the tweeter kicks in, there's like some distortion smearing that kind of happens around there. But generally speaking, they do provide you a very once you get to know them, accurate picture of the mid-range. Before you get to know them, you're like, what is happening? So it takes a little bit to get to know. So for that reason, I'm not going to put them in the cart. I'm going to stick with the Atom Audios. Those tend to be more user-friendly for a lot of people. So with these items that we've got in the cart, we are coming up to a total of $961.95. That's actually pretty great. Leaves you, what, 40 bucks, 39, 38 bucks, gosh, math, to, maybe buy yourself a plugin or something. MJUC is a good plugin for around that price, for a compressor with character. So, but yeah, so that's under $1,000. I think that's respectable. You can produce results with that. So that's great. Okay, but let's talk about why you're really here. You want to hear why I said I was going to make a crazy pants recommendation. So let's get into it. All right, first things first. It's not going to seem crazy pants at first, but Blackline Audio Revolution interface. You know how I feel about the Blackline Audio Revolution. If you saw my tier list video, I actually gave it a pretty high score. And the reason why is because I think this interface, which I actually have it here on my desk right now, this interface was misunderstood. And I think it may have been a failure of marketing maybe, but Blackline Audio didn't focus as much on the overall specs as they did on the sound, like the end result, which I respect because there's so many interfaces that are like, hey, we'll give you onboard DSP or, really close to zero latency or the lowest latency possible. And it's like, that's great. But Blackline Audio is like, listen, I just want to give you the best possible sound that we can produce for you at the price point. And like, if you just care about the raw audio, it's a really good option. So let's hook this thing up so I can give you a little A/B comparison of exactly how this thing sounds. All right, now you are listening to my voice through the Blackline Audio Revolution. The input gain is right at about high noon, which is a great spot for this microphone on my voice with this position. Typically, you hear me speaking through the Antelope Audio Discrete 4 interface, which those interfaces are great. I originally purchased that one for over $1,000. This one you can pick up for $279. So you're hearing it right now. It sounds pretty good. All right, let's get back. See what I mean? It's not a bad interface. Blackline Audio will get you there. That should be their slogan. Blackline Audio. It'll get you there. But anyways, we'll put this in the carts. No protection, can't afford it. They're great interfaces. You really can't go wrong. We're also going to put those same headphones right in the cart because, again, for less than $100, you can't really go wrong. Okay, this is where things are going to get a little bit crazy pants here. Let's get serious. When you're mixing music, you have a stereo field. You have a left and right channel, right? When you're mixing voiceover, you have a mono channel, typically, very few exceptions. If you are listening to and mixing your own voice or voiceover, you only technically need one speaker. It's a mono source. You're not going to pan this left and right. You don't really need any sort of stereo effects. You're listening to your voice in mono. So I'm going to make the recommendation that you get a really good single monitor without breaking the bank. We still got to save a little bit of room in the budget for the microphone, but the single monitor that I'm going to recommend is this. This is the Kali Audio. Hold on, I got to turn the lights back on. That was a little bit too dramatic. Kali Audio LP6 V2. Kali Audio is a pretty amazing monitor company, like speaker company. They make great stuff for the price. I honestly don't know how they're able to get away with what they can. And I mean, the word is that they were former JBL employees that decided that they're going to take like their philosophy and start their own company and really just create a competitor. But they were going to do it right. And I got to say, Kali Audio does a great job. I used to have the IN8s, and those I used as my main monitors for over a year. They're great. I did go to a studio that used the LP6s as their like main set of like near fields. They also have like the big Genelecs or Aspergers or whatever they are, like in the big array. But they used the LP6s in that studio and loved them. I thought they were great. Like Kali Audio is doing some sort of black magic to make things happen with those speakers. They're great. So let's add one of those into the cart. Listen, if this is making your blood boil and you're just really upset, don't hold it in. Tell me in the comments exactly how you feel. Don't take that to the grave. Listen, I'm worried about your mental health. And currently in the cart right now, we've got $621, which is, all right, it's right in that ballpark. But okay, let's talk about the microphone. You know this microphone. This is the microphone that I use on my YouTube channel. This is the Dachman Audio DA87 SE. The difference between the SE and the 87i, not a huge difference here. Let me show you the 87i. So you can see right here, it's got like all the little switches for the polar patterns. I think it's also got a pad on the other side. The 87 SE has no switches. It only gives you cardioid only, which for voiceover is really all you need, like 99% of the time. So, okay, Dachman Audio DA87 SE. The thing that I love about the Dachman Audio is that they've decided, instead of trying to chase the U87 AI, which is what everybody else seems to really be chasing, they were like, we're going to give you a vintage style U87. I love the vintage style U87s. Like, I think the U87 AI for some voices just doesn't work. It can be harsh, it can be brittle, that kind of thing. And I'm being very critical of it, I know, but like, it just doesn't always work for some voices. Vintage U87s, they tend to work with more sources. They're a little warmer, they're a little vibier. They have a little bit more character in the mids and the high mids, and I just like it. So this microphone being modeled more after the vintage U87 as opposed to the U87 AI, I love it. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. This is $499. That's already breaking the budget. Here's the deal. Add this one to the cart, and you see this little coupon code, save 100. That's going to take $100 off the price. So it's only $399, which puts our total at $22 over budget. So we got to make some choices and some adjustments. Okay, here's what I would do. Let's delete the Black Lion Audio Revolution. So we got $342.99 from just those. And now let's go to Guitar Center. Now I'm going to go into the used market. It's a little bit of savings when you need to use it. Here's the thing about the used market that I like with like Guitar Center and stuff, and Musician's Friend is also this. You can return it if it doesn't work. And the prices are actually really good through Guitar Center, not affiliated whatsoever. No one's paying me to say those words. But like guitarcenter.com, you can typically find things cheaper than if you were just looking on like Reverb. Like Reverb is turned into like a collector's market, which is weird. But the guitarcenter.com, you can get used stuff for cheap. Like here is the Black Lion Audio Revolution for $194, and it looks like it's in good shape. I mean, you can't really go wrong. And then if you get it and it like doesn't work, or if they forget to send you the cable, because the Revolutions, they do require their own little USB cable, you can call them and they will refund you. And, or you can go to your local Guitar Center and just give it back and they'll refund you right there. Or you can ship it back to them if you don't live near a Guitar Center like myself. Like it gives you that extra little layer of security, Or if you just absolutely hated it, which I don't think you will. If you're doing voiceover, you're not going to hate this product. I don't think. But that way, we take that to $194, and then we've got $342. Oh, geez. What is this math? Okay, hold on. Let's bust out the calculator. All right, so we've got $194 plus $342 plus $399. And then, of course, there's a few more 99 cents that are attached in there, but I'm at $935, so $938 is what that comes in at. And I mean, honestly, with you being at $938, you might make the choice to, instead of doing the one monitor, do like the Atom T5Vs. Let's actually see what that comes out to. T5V studio monitor pair with the cables and isolation for $399. Okay, let's look at that. Let's see where we're coming in. So $492. So that's more math. I know. $492 plus $194 plus $399. We're over budget again. Yeah, I think you got to stick with the one monitor. Like, I understand how you feel. Or you could just ignore this fake budget because let's just be honest, like, you know, one monitor may not be fun, but it's all you need. It is all you need. All right. That's going to be it for this video. If you got something out of this, if you got some sort of value from this, please consider liking this video, subscribing, sharing it with someone that you want to infuriate with the idea of one speaker and only one speaker. And then, you know, stick around for, you know, some upcoming videos that I've got that I'll be working on, including like the difference between hardware and software. I've got an 1176 patched in up here that I'm going to be doing a direct comparison between that and then common 1176 style plugins. That's going to be fun. There definitely is a difference. Better, that's going to be up to you once we make that video. But consider subscribing if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.